Right, how is everyone doing? So today we're just going to discuss the new announcement from eBay, and that is their authenticity guarantee. Personally, I think this is a big thing for the hobby and a lot of other hobbies, a lot of other card games and just collectible cards out there. I think this is going to be massive. Now, it looks as though they're using CGC as one of the main authenticators for this program. That's a pretty good thing. You've obviously got one of the top three sort of like grading companies, authenticators, pretty much in the industry of collectible cards. This is definitely off the back of the Logan Paul sort of drama as well, with the $3.5 million, fake authenticated box. Let's be honest, that BBC, I mean, they mustn't have a clue what they're doing, or, there was definitely some money exchanged for that, because it's pretty ridiculous the fact that you'd have such a mess up, like how an authenticator who's gonna wrap a box anyway doesn't just open the box or break the seal to double check and make sure that it's an authenticated first edition base set blister box or whatever. I just think it's a bit daft that like they never bothered to open it and they just said, oh yeah, that's it. Anyway, I think that could be a whole other video for itself, but we won't even go into that anymore. That's gone. But it's nice to see that eBay have obviously seen where the collectible card industry sort of is and how much is in it. I think, let me just check. I think it was almost like, I think I seen somewhere it was, like over 2 billion in card transactions in the first half of 2021. I mean, it's a massive industry. It's ridiculous. There's people there that love it, that want to put money into it. So to finally have that authentication guarantee, I mean, it's big. It's big for the hobbies. You could have any card game out there. I think that's pretty much what they're looking to do, is just any collectible card will have to be authenticated if it's over a certain amount. Obviously, I think it would be a bit too much if it was just card, like, every card that's worth from 99p all the way up to £200. But I think what they're doing, it's starting off in America at the moment, and I think it's anything over $750 or over is what pretty much they're going to authenticate at the moment. Started off, and then probably around mid 2022 then they might probably roll it out to the rest of the world, which is a good thing. I think the lowest price will be about $250 and then up. So anything you buy for $250 or up has to be authenticated. Now, one of the main sort of cons that'll probably come from this is the fact that it probably will take a lot longer now for the cards to, when you've bought it, if it has to go through the authentication process after you've bought it, or whether it can go through the authentication process before you buy it. I think that's what it probably might be. But either way, I think it is to authenticate for the buyer. So if you're a buyer and you're buying a card that is $250 or above, you do kind of want to have that guarantee anyway. So I feel like waiting the extra couple of days, maybe 7 to 10 days max before you end up getting it. Because I think once it's authenticated, they're going to send it, speedy tracked, pretty much as fast as possible, tracked delivery. You won't be waiting that long as soon as it has been authenticated. But the best thing about it is obviously when it is authenticated and it does get that, thumbs up, yes, this is legit. It's exactly like described. So you're buying exactly as you intend to buy. Can't really grumble with that sort of thing. I think they do this with sneakers. I think they do this with shoes, like sneakers in America, and watches, like high-end watches as well, which is understandable because there's a massive market in that. But I feel like now with how big that the card industry is, the collectible card industry, it's about time we had some sort of some sort of authenticity when you're buying this stuff on this marketplace, because eBay is one of the biggest marketplaces for cards, like for collectible cards. Now, the thing is, what I think is good for this as well is the fact that all of these shady sort of maybe Pokemon sellers, anyone really that is a bit shady with how they're listing things, maybe how they're describing the condition of what the cards that they're selling, this will pretty much eliminate that if it's obviously over a certain amount. So I think $250, you're talking it'd be about £200 in the UK. I mean, if you're buying a card for that and the description, you want to be buying exactly what is described. So I think the process then, if it does get sent to the authentication and it isn't as described, then obviously you're protected. It's a little bit of a letdown because obviously, you know, whatever you're buying isn't right, but at the same time you've just saved yourself like months of hassle trying to get your money back and trying to go through that process then of, you know, like he said, she said, and oh yeah, well you didn't check the listing properly, and you know, there's a million different things that sellers might be able to do to buyers and buyers might be able to do to sellers. So I think having that authentication sort of saves both sides the hassle, because once it has got that stamp of authenticity, you can't really complain about anything then. It's there, it's solid. I think another takeaway from this, especially with CGC being one of the main authenticators, it's going to validate eBay as a marketplace even more once they've got that authenticity sort of guarantee on the cards or on the collectibles, whatever it might be. I feel like new people coming to the hobby might have a lot more security then, and might feel a lot more secure buying a lot of stuff that they might not fully understand what it is, but they obviously want it because it might be nostalgic to them. It may be something they've seen and they think, oh, I wouldn't mind having that, whatever it might be. So to see that authenticity sort of tick on it, that's a great thing to see for new buyers as well. I also think another thing that this is going to stop is a lot of those shady sellers that might try and reproduce really old vintage sort of collectible stuff. I feel like especially for Pokemon, there are a lot of people out there now that are starting to do reproductions, like really good, close, like to the real thing reproductions. I think once they have that scare tactic of you've got to get this sent off, there's no opt-in or opt-out option. If you're selling it for this amount and you're saying it is what it is, you've got to send it off for authenticity. And it could just be like, you know, not what they're describing. I've now got that guarantee and that security then of being like, okay, I can drop a big amount of money and I can feel good that it's authenticated properly and it's been through the process, and I've got that guarantee. Because if you think about it, say something did slip through the cracks, say something did, you know, like that could be another con, is something did slip through the cracks that, I mean, I highly doubt it, but you know, with that many things out there, there could be something that slips through. I feel like if you notice it or something does seem off, then at least you do have that guarantee from whatever party. So even if it has been authenticated, technically they would be liable then because they've authenticated it. So then it's not like, you know, you'd be losing out because you still have that protection. Whereas beforehand, before this was announced and before this might be a thing, the collectible sort of side of things, especially the collectible cards and stuff, it wasn't very secure in some areas. I feel like it is easy for people to like reproduce or try and, you know, not really describe the products that they're trying to sell properly, and then get away with it when the buyer buys it, and then eBay don't really understand what's going on and stuff like that. So having that authenticity sort of just like takes a lot of weight maybe off eBay to try and like understand what's going on, and maybe they'd be like, okay, well, it has been authenticated by our third-party authenticators. That's, you know, a company that we trust, so it is pretty much legit. Overall, I mean, like I said before, this is a really good thing for all of the hobbies in general. It'll help the longevity of a lot of the stuff, especially with how the market can go up and down, and, you know, collectible card values, everything can go up and down and go, you know, all over the place. This will give it a lot more security for the long term. I feel people are going to start seeing this a lot more serious, like they do with maybe sneakers, like they might do with watches, collectible watches, whatever it might be, like expensive watches and everything else that they sort of authenticate in that sort of way. I feel like now the collectible card industry is going to start growing even more and have that next level to sort of go on, to then be like, okay, yeah, this is a legit sort of like investment. This is like, you know, something that people spend a lot of money on, and they need that security because they're spending a lot of money on these things. So yeah, personally, it's a really good thing. Honestly, I'd love to hear other people's opinion. I'd love to see some comments down in the comment section just to let me know sort of what you think, whether, you know, you're against whatever I've said, or, you know, just like, even if your view is different to mine, whether you don't agree and don't think it's that good, I'd love to hear it. Honestly, I'd love to just see what people say in the comments and what sort of people think about it all. If you have any questions for me, like about, you know, something I might not have touched base on in this, I'd love to hear it. This is just my opinions. This is just what I think from just first glance of seeing it. But I mean, it looks really promising. It really does. And I'm excited to see sort of where it takes all of the hobbies and all of the collectible card sort of industries out there. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed this discussion. Leave some comments down below, like and subscribe, and let me know what you think.